Once upon a time, there lived a little boy, and he grew up in a little town called Canton in Georgia. Now, this little boy was homeschooled, and of course, being homeschooled, his mom taught him. Now, during recess time, he decided to always make best use of that time by extending it as long as he could. Sometimes his mom would even forget, and then he'd get to play for the rest of the day. So, as you could probably guess, this little boy was me. I am going to share with you a story that I had during this time of my life. Have any of you ever done something without thinking, or done something that you wish you shouldn't have done, or you get caught in a situation that's not the best? Well, I'm going to tell you about one of these situations that I got in. So, back to when I was 6 years old in Georgia, in Canton, I was playing at recess outside at my house, and I decided that I was going to climb the biggest tree that I could. Now, back in the day, I could, say I was part monkey, part boy, because I loved to climb in trees and I loved to play with ropes. So, I had this brilliant epiphany. So I searched around the whole yard, and I found this massive pine tree in the middle of the front yard. Now, this pine tree was so big that when I tried to wrap my arms around it, I couldn't even do it. It's like trying to hug somebody, but they have their hand in your face, and you just can't quite reach them. That's what it was like to try to wrap my arms around this pine tree. So I decided I was going to climb it like lumberjacks do. I'm sure you all have seen the way lumberjacks did it back in the day, how they had a rope, and they would sling it around the tree, and they'd have spikes in their shoes, and then they'd sling it around and just climb their way up like that. So I decided I was going to do that. So I started by throwing the rope around. I had to hook it on the bark of the tree because I couldn't reach around. Finally got the rope around, and I didn't have spikes in my shoes, so I just used my cowboy boots, right? Good for everything. So I tried climbing up this tree, but I just couldn't do it. My boots just kept slipping, and I just couldn't get up this tree. So I had another brilliant idea. Best one ever. I decided, you know what? I am going to just turn my back to this tree, tie the rope around the tree, and then I'm going to thread it through my belt loops, and then I'm going to shimmy up backwards up the tree. So I proceeded to do this. So I got the rope, got my back to the tree, I tied it through my belt loops, and I was standing on my tippy toes. I even slung the rope upward, that way I could hang there a little bit and get a head start. And I tied it as tight as I could, and then I slipped, and when I fell, just thud, the rope got really tight. It's like that thud that the door makes when you slam it, and it's latched for good. That's the noise that it made. So I was like, oh boy, this could be a hard knot to untie. But I've untied plenty, right? So no problem. I was like, I'll wait till I get to the top of the tree. So I proceeded to shimmy up this tree, but I just kept slipping. It's like my boots were on ice. This bark just had no grip for my cowboy boots. So as I'm there, I'm struggling, and the bark is like sandpaper on my back, and it's hurting, and I'm just getting frustrated. And then, worst of all, I hear some sound coming out the front door. And lo and behold, out come my brother and my sister. And they're both older, so of course they come out laughing and pointing at me. And I'm here struggling, and I can't get out, and they're not going to help me. I don't want to ask for their help. That's just going to be humiliating. So I'm getting really frustrated. And after minutes of this, me struggling, my mom comes out. And of course, she's the rescuer of the day, right? So she comes out, kind of smiles, gives a little smirk, and she turns around to go back inside. And I'm like, oh yes, she's going to get some scissors or a knife to cut me free. And then my pride just got shot down, just like a hunter shoots a bird out of the sky, when my mom comes back out, and she's not holding scissors, but she's holding a video camera. What mom holds a video camera when a poor son is struggling? Well, my mom did. Okay, so now I'm really upset. No one's helping me, and my mom's encouraging my brother and my sister by recording me. It is a funny situation, but at the time I was upset. So I took things into my own hands, and extreme situations call for extreme reactions. So what I did was I stripped off my boots, unbuckled my pants, and I jumped out of my jeans, and I went running inside frantically as fast as I could in my blue Superman underwear. And my mom got it all on video, and that was the most humiliating part of my childhood. And my jeans were just left dangling there like a scarecrow in a garden. So, in the end, it was all good, and we joke about it now. But that is a real life situation, and it's a good lesson that I learned. And that lesson is to always think before you do things. If we always thought before we did things, this world would be a drastically different place. We wouldn't have stupid situations or people being inconsiderate or rude. We would always think and process. We would always be preemptive in our actions and not reactive in our actions. So that's that I'd like to leave you with. Thank you for listening.